Hello, Knights fans, and welcome to the 4th edition of the Knights Baseball Roundup. I am, of course, joined by the head of the FDU Baseball program, Gary Puccio. Gary, how you doing on this wonderful winter day?
Yeah, it's always great to be outside.
Yeah. This is basically, if you can picture the baseball field behind us, this is what it looks like. Beautiful northeast weather. We're expecting more snow tonight, I believe.
And 5 home games next week.
Yes, but before we get into anything, let's talk about that. We are looking at hosting all of those games, if not at least a few.
Well, the word I've been given is they're looking into plowing the field, hopefully over the weekend.
Yep.
And then depending, obviously, on how the weather we get after that, whether we're going to be able to play next week, it's going to depend on when they plow. But obviously, our goal is to try to get all those games in next week, which I believe we play Lafayette Tuesday, St. John's Wednesday, and then UMass Lowell over the weekend. We definitely will get some of them in, and you know, with a little bit of luck, we'll get them all in.
All right, excellent. As you know, FDUKnights.com, at FDUKnights is on Twitter, is where you will find out about every one of those home games. Now, first, let's get into it. Live baseball, competitive baseball, has been played. First of all, how was getting out to beautiful Northwest America, Seattle, playing Seattle U? How was getting out there?
Well, first of all, that was incredible. We were snowed out in Virginia, and within a day and a half, we turned it into a trip to Seattle, which was...
Yeah, kudos to you.
Well, not me. I mean,
kudos to whoever it was.
Yeah, so many people that had a lot to do with it, especially Lorraine and Lynn. I have to say they were phenomenal. Sean and David also, Sean Morris and David Langford, that giving us the opportunity to go out there. I mean, Seattle came up with some money to guarantee that made the trip possible. We actually spent less money going to Seattle than we would have spent going to Virginia, which is incredible. And, yeah, they were way ahead of us. They've played 10 games already, and they've been outside for a month and a half. And, of course, we had our standard miss a pop-up in the infield because we've never taken pop-ups yet this year. So every year that happens the first weekend. So there were a lot of struggles, and it was definitely biting off a lot trying to think that, we can compete with them right away. But it was still good to get going, and that was my line to the kids before the series. Just, this is about getting going. We're going to get outside when we get going, because how much longer can we wait to get going?
I mean, between the just abysmal weather, indoor practices, the cancellation of contests, I mean, how are you feeling now with the team finally getting underway? How do you think everyone's feeling? I mean, I know you just said it, like, that was it. That was just getting started, knocking the rust off, but as an overall, taking a step back from the opening weekend, I mean, you got to be happy that you're at least out there.
Yeah, we made mistakes. A lot of the mistakes we made, I felt, were mistakes based on not being able to be outside. Like, our outfield seemed to, have late jumps on a couple of balls and stuff. And like I said about the infield pop-up, all things that you can't really work on indoors. Yeah, I mean, I think we threw 3 pickoff plays away, which is another thing that you really have to be outside to have the exact distances and stuff. So yeah, a lot of the mistakes were mistakes that we couldn't work on yet. So it's good to see, so we know exactly what we do have to work on once we get outside, and I think that'll help.
All right, this past weekend it was a doubleheader on Saturday against Seattle U. Sunday it was a standalone game. Seattle U, as you just said, they were 10 games into the season already. So they took the 3 games, but the first 6-0 contest, I believe. But Joe Borelli, give me your thoughts on Joe Borelli getting his first pitch, getting awarded the first pitch at the first pitch dinner, and his performance, the rest of the team's performance in the game number 1.
I mean, Joe had a bad second inning. He gave 4 runs in the second inning. I think it was 4 straight hitters that got on. And if you take that away, I mean, he pitched phenomenal, but obviously you can't just take that away. Right. At the same time, first time out, I had them all on a 85 to 90 pitch limit. Seattle's pitchers one guy pitched a complete game. I mean, they're at a different level right now than we are. So we kind of, after the 5th inning on, had to go to middle relievers and things that hopefully later on in the season you would do less of. So I thought Joe pitched well. He walked nobody, which is a great sign coming out of the gym, first time out, walking nobody. He had a rough second inning, gave 4 runs, bounced right back and threw 3 good innings after that. So overall, happy with Joe's performance. Definitely felt it was a good first outing.
Now, speaking a little bit about the offense, though, Ryan Brennan in the first inning got the Knights' first hit of the season. It was the first extra base hit. It was a double. He is one of the players you're looking to provide the offense for the offense. Give me some thoughts about him right there in his first at bat of the season.
Yeah, well, he's tied for the team lead in hitting with a 200 batting average, so that tells you how well we hit for the weekend. But yeah, Ryan got off to a phenomenal start, double right away. I think he singled in the 9th inning as well. He had a real good first game. Hit the ball hard all weekend. He had a couple of nice, I thought, real good at-bats. And, yeah, we're counting on him to be one of the bats for us. And he did nothing to make me think that's not going to happen.
And we don't want to single Ryan out. I mean, several other players got their hits in. And as you said, and then we just argued before the show just started, despite not hitting the best as a team, it's just the opening weekend. You're knocking the rust off. You can't only do it so much indoors against a pitching machine or against, a bullpen session kind of thing. But in the second game, you got your one run. You got your one run on small ball tactics. You like to see that? I know that's a staple of your game. Give me some thoughts on the second game there and the run scored.
Well, that was the one thing I did tell him. We didn't have too many base runners. We had 136 for the weekend, so we didn't have too many base runners. But I felt that when we did have base runners, we executed well. I mean, Shane Seaver laid down a bunt with first and second to move the runners over. Matt McCann then hit a ground ball up the middle that they got a forced play on, but we scored a run off of. And that's the kind of ball we got to play to get runs. We got to play team baseball, and I thought we did a good job of that. Obviously, we just didn't have enough opportunities to do it often, but we did do it well when we had the opportunities, and that was a good sign.
Going over to Sunday, Game 3, you had Logan Frady on the bump, and coming off a lost season, good to see him get out there. He looked pretty solid. Give me some thoughts about Logan's performance and the team's performance in that third game on Sunday.
Yeah, I think Logan walked 3 and hit 1, which is so un-Logan-like. I think freshman year, I think he walked 8 batters the entire season. So he was rusty. And the one thing I love about Logan is he's a fighter, and he pitched 5 innings, and he was up at around 89 pitches. Freshman year, he pitched a complete game with 86 pitches one time. So I knew he was, he was done for the day. I had told him all 85 to 90, and that's it. But he was arguing with me right and left about I got another inning in me and everything else, which is I love about Logan, that he's just never willing.
He's been dying to get back on
and never. So and I told him, I said, it's the first time out in a year. That's your first time you've pitched in over a year.
Yeah,
I said, giving up 3 runs in 5 innings is a pretty good outing under any circumstances. Giving up 3 runs in 5 innings when it's your first start in a year is a very good outing, and I got great faith in Logan for the season.
Another pitcher that got action. I mean, you pretty much got everybody got some playing time this weekend, and for good reason. But Eric Snyder, team program's all-time leader in saves, got out there for 2 1/3 innings. Now, you think that was just to knock off the rust, get him out there for an extended look? Maybe the other relievers had pitched a lot earlier in the series. And also, just to mention, I mean, you had mentioned that Snyder came into the FDU as a starter.
Right.
You put him into the bullpen, so he can go these multiple innings. But give me some thoughts about why you stretched him out like you did.
Well, one of the things I told him was that this year, as a closer, he might have to be a Goose Gossage type closer. I don't know if people remember, but Goose Gossage was a guy who would come in the 7th inning and pitch 3 innings for the Yankees in relief and get saves. And I told Eric we're going to have to expand you a couple times into a 2-inning save rather than a 1-inning save. So after he didn't pitch on Saturday, I told him, I'm going to guarantee you're going to get at least 2 innings today, no matter what, just to get the rust out and to extend you a little bit. And I told him I wanted to throw 50 pitches, and basically I think he threw 52, and that was it. So he had a good outing. I was very happy with him as well. And, the main pitchers, I don't think we were giving up any. I think the most we had given up was 4 runs in the first by the starting pit by any of the 3 starters. So that was a good sign. Middle relief, we kind of struggled a lot. And I guess 2 of the freshmen didn't pitch. They were the only 2 guys not to play yet. Right. So everybody else got some time this weekend.
I like the Goose Gossage comparison. I would love to see multiple innings reliever. I like that in theory also. And as a mustache aficionado, I like Goose Gossage's mustache. I know Eric's got the beard. He's got the beard, but if he can just nail down the mustache, he could be Goose Gossage 2.0. Because so many baseball players do the beard.
There you go.
It's not atypical. Get the mustache going.
And like Goose Gossage, who's a Hall of Famer, he's going to be a Hall of Famer too one day. So
absolutely. I mean, Eric's leading the program in saves, as I mentioned, and he's got his entire senior season to go. The Knights finally in competitive action this past weekend.
I don't know if it was competitive, though. I don't know if I'd say competitive, but the
technically,
Knights in
yes,
action,
Gary.
right?
The Knights were in action competitively. Right. Knocking off that rust. Now, as you mentioned, a lot of home games coming next week. We'll see what happens with those games. But first, a definite, we are playing North Carolina A&T this weekend, correct?
That is correct. They also were everyone's having weather problems, so they're getting rain instead of snow right now, though they got snow a couple of days ago. But they're getting rain.
It's a cold rain.
Yeah, so the field's muddy, and it's a grass field down there. So right now the schedule's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, a single game each day.
Yeah.
I've already been in touch with the coach. If we have to, we'll go 2 Saturday, 1 Sunday. But we're definitely, the forecast for the weekend is all good. So we'll definitely be playing down there. One of the weird things, they have 75-degree weather today, and snow flurries predicted for tomorrow. So
I wish we were getting 75 in snow.
yeah, right.
And as you know, Rutgers was canceled today. Otherwise, we wouldn't be talking. But that's just the weather in the Northeast, you know. We'll see if that game it could ever possibly get made up. But nonetheless, North Carolina A&T will happen this weekend, and FDUnites.com will update you on whether or not we play one a day or we're playing doubleheader, whatever. Give me some thoughts about your opponents this weekend. We're definitely going to see some more action. What are you looking at this weekend?
I mean, obviously Seattle's in the WAC. I mean, they're in a much higher division. North Carolina A&T plays in the MEAC. So we kind of feel this is more a competitive level for us, and hopefully we'll have a decent start. They've played 5 games already. We've played 3 now. So I expect us to be better. Like, one of the lines I told the players was, let's just keep playing better each game. I mean, that's the goal, to play better. You know, our 3rd game on Sunday against Seattle was, even though the final score was 9-1, that was our best game, I felt, up to then. Had like 6 hits, started to, you know, Dylan Sprague came alive a little bit the second half and got 2 hits that day. So signs were there that, okay, we're moving forward. And now with North Carolina A&T, I expect us to do that again, and I expect us to keep advancing. And one of the things I always tell the kids is it's about level of play. We don't talk about wins and losses, we talk about level of play. And it's time for us to start establishing that level of play, which for us is always good pitching, solid defense, and timely hitting. And hopefully that's where we'll get to in the next couple of weeks.
All right, and because I'm probably going to be talking to you next Wednesday before the home game against St. John's on your side of the campus, we will preview Tuesday's matchup against Lafayette. Now, Lafayette's already got a no-hitter in the bag this season. Pretty impressive in the early going. Give me some thoughts, a little scouting report on them.
Yeah, they're always an outstanding pitching team. They always have solid arms on the mound. Very stingy about giving up runs, and always play good defense. Not a strong hitting team, but a solid hitting team. So we'll have our work cut out for us to handle them. They swept us last year here right after we cleared the field with all the snow. So kind of sounds familiar that we're going to do the same thing to try to play them. But hopefully we're going to start being more and more competitive as time goes on. I mean, that's the only thing I can hope for.
Absolutely. Best of luck this weekend and on Tuesday against Lafayette.
Thank you very much, and I look forward to our pre-St. John's show next Wednesday. Eddie Blankmeyer and St. John's University coming to FDU for the first time in almost a decade, so that should be pretty good.
Awesome. Hope to see baseball alumnus, family, friends, everybody out there at the Imoli Complex. And Gary, we're on the 4th episode of the show already. We finally got some action, and how do you feel? I mean, it's been 4 shows over a month span. We're finally talking games. How good does that feel?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I said to the kids, too. We played. I said this trip was well worth it. I mean, win, lose, draw, and I think we got outscored 29-2, which is not exact. But obviously it means it should be easy to improve from that, you would hope. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, we got to play, and that was the whole point. We got to play. We got to see live pitching. We got to see live at-bat. That had to happen sooner or later, so better sooner than later.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. All right, again, best of luck. Thank you for joining us on this edition of the Knights Baseball Roundup. We'll be back again next Wednesday before the St. John's game. And a personal challenge to Eric Snyder. I want you growing out this Goose Gossage mustache. No beard. No more beard. Do the Danny Espinosa. I know you know Danny Espinosa's got that crazy mustache going on. The biker. You do it. You get it done. Multiple innings reliever, closer. I want to see it.
Look, whatever he's been doing for 3 years is working, so I'm not going to tell him what to do.
Okay, well, it's up to him then. But personal challenge. I can't grow it. Grow it for the both of us. Okay? Everybody, baseball alums, family, friends, Knights fans, thank you for watching. FDU Knights is on Twitter. We'll give you updates at FDUnites.com. You know where to be for everything FDU baseball. Thanks for watching this week. We'll be back again next week with another edition with Gary. More games to break down. One more thing. It looks like you want to say something.
And we're standing because it's standing room only at our field still. So Bring your own chair.
You see the walkway behind us? That was where the line will begin shortly after we conclude this episode. Thank you for watching again this week. Have a great weekend. Support your Knights.